Whoosh. Hi, hello there. I already kind of messed up, but it's okay. Hi, hello. Hello. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of spooky story ASMR, and it's mainly going to be me whispering to you. So I hope that's fun. I think it'll be fun. We're all sat around a campfire out in the woods, which is perfect for telling all kinds of scary stories. I will say I don't have any alerts on, so if anything happens, I'll thank you guys tomorrow, or the next day whenever I stream. And also, I probably won't be responding to too many comments, so just be aware of that. Because I think you're supposed to, stay pretty, in character when you do ASMR. Yeah. So welcome to Camp Cece. Tonight, I've gathered you all here to scare you, hopefully. You can roast little marshmallows while you listen in, or you can just lay down. I don't care. I've got a couple of little stories here that I grabbed, and hopefully you like them, or you don't. Maybe you'll be really scared, and that's good too. Okay. Just a final check here. Does everything sound okay? Before I get started. This is my first time, so I tested before I started stream, but I don't know if it sounds as good to everyone else. Sounds bueno? Okay. This first one, is a longer one. It's called I Watched Video Footage of a Camping Trip that my friends never actually went on. By Walpurgis Night. Good Madoka reference. It was getting to be a tradition. For the past 2 years, we've gone on a camping trip together, me and my group of friends. Sean, Lynn, and her sister Lily, Key, Sal, Monica, and Gabe. Monica's family is really wealthy, and they own a lot of land out in bumfuck Michigan. So we've wrapped up our past 2 summer vacations out there in the woods. We pitch a few tents in what's basically the backyard of Monica's grandmother's huge Victorian-style house and pretend we're roughing it, when in actuality, we just sleep out there for the 5 hours of the night that we don't spend drinking or playing video games inside. Cooking out over the bonfire and climbing trees is fun, but it's only been a very small part of the trip. None of us talked about it or admitted it out loud, not even Monica, but we were all a little afraid to be out there for too long. We had no concrete reason to be, but we were, no matter how many times the Pines family assured us that the property was safe. I'd never seen or heard anything out of the ordinary out there. Maybe it was just because I'd seen enough horror movies to develop a fear of the woods in general, but I don't know. Something about the air and the intimidatingly vast property just made me feel really vulnerable. I got told just days before we were supposed to leave, that I wouldn't be able to take the time off for the trip. One of my fellow supervisors at work had to go in for emergency surgery on his knee, and my store just didn't have the coverage. I was really bummed, but my friends didn't hold it against me. We all know being an adult sucks sometimes. I told them they could still use my cooler, and my tents, and my camcorder, and that they should video blog the trip for me. I hugged them all goodbye the morning they left and then went off to my shift. I told Sal to call me once they got there because I knew he would be the only one who'd remember to check in. Sal never called. None of them did. I left work at 10 p.m. and tried to text and call all of them, but not one of them got back to me. I checked Twitter, Facebook, nothing from anybody. No updates since Gabe's hitting the road status from earlier that morning. I felt like throwing up. Something felt really wrong. Key's mother called me as soon as I started to panic, and she sounded really rattled too. He hadn't talked to her all day, and he's really good about touching base with her when he takes trips. I'd later learned that whole night, my friends' parents were all trying to get in touch with each other. None of them heard from their kids since they first got out on the road. Monica's mom called the landline to the house several times. Grandma of Pines was out of town this year, but Monica should have answered if they were there. She didn't. Sean's father drove up to the Pines property the next morning with Monica's parents. He told me something felt off as soon as he stepped out of the car. When you pull up to the house, there's no fence or anything, so you can see if anything is set up in the area surrounding it. He would have been able to see if anyone had set up tents and gear as soon as he got up the path, but there was nothing. But he said all the house's windows were open and all the lights were on. Within a half hour, they called the police. I was asked to come in, watch the videos, and answer any questions I could. I transcribed what I watched as best as I could. Clip 1, 10:45, 9/16/2016. Gabe has the camera pointed at the rearview mirror. Gabe, how the fuck do you know when it's recording? Monica, the green button is on, dipshit. Clip 2, 1:15, 9/16/2016. Gabe is filming the back of Lynn's car, just ahead of them. He's talking to Sean and Monica, but I can't tell what they're saying, even with the audio adjusted. It's raining really hard, and I see flashes of lightning. Clip 3, 8/16, 9/16/2016. A close-up of Monica. She's smoking and swinging in the rocking chair out on the back porch. She looks tipsy. She notices she's being filmed and winks at the camera. I think Sean laughs. Clip 4, 10/16, 9/17/2016. I swallow hard when I see the timestamp. It doesn't make any sense. Saturday morning, Sean's father was already calling the police by then. I want to ask the cop what's going on, but he tells me to just please keep watching quietly. Lily is flipping pancakes. She scrunches up her nose at the camera and Gabe chuckles. Gabe, you don't look so good, Lil. Didn't sleep? Lily, how could I? All those fucking screams last night? Gabe, the hell? Lily, you didn't hear that? Lynn and I were freaked the fuck out. Gabe, what the fuck? We didn't hear anything. Lily, yeah, it sounded like cats in heat, but wrong. It wasn't natural. We were out in the tents all night and we didn't hear shit. Lily, lucky you. We came in the house at like 4, and it was still going. I don't know when it stopped, but I guess I fell asleep at some point. Gabe, Did the girls say anything? Lily, they're not up yet. I don't know. Here, can you pass me that? Clip 5, 11/14, 9/17/2016. A wide shot of the quote-unquote backyard. I can hear glasses clinking, and a couple of my friends taking drags of cigarettes. I see a figure standing far off by the edge of the woods, but whoever's filming doesn't seem to notice it. Then I hear Gabe's voice, followed by Sean's, then Key's. They're talking about the hot tub needing repairs because the bubble jets don't work, and then the figure moves and Gabe sees it. Gabe, whoa, what the fuck? Key, what? Sean, dude. Gabe, holy fuck. What the fuck? Who the fuck? Lots of fucks. Key, Gabe. Gabe, did you see? Did you see that? The figure is contorting in the distance, and I cover my mouth with my hand. It's shaped like a person, but it starts doing this odd twitching movement with its arms. They look almost like they're stretching out and then shrinking again. The legs are bending. The boys behind the camera are yelling and freaking out. The shot cuts to the figure, launching itself upward into the trees. Clip 6. The timestamps are turned off. It's nighttime. A shaky shot of the deck out back. The porch light is on, and Lily and Key have their backs to the camera. They're crouched down, sitting on the steps, and Lily is sobbing. Key looks behind his shoulder and mounts, turn it off, but the camera's still recording. Key pecks the top of her head and rubs her back, but she barely moves. Key, are you sure you saw? His voice is too quiet for me to hear everything he says. I'm pretty sure Gabe is the one filming again. I don't see Monica in the shot, but I hear her voice, and then Sean's. Monica, what happened? Sean, you didn't hear that? There's some stuff in this house, man. Gabe, guys. Monica, I looked in every single room. There's nothing in here. What do you want me to do, Sean? Clip 7. A shot of something, somebody, caught very high in a tree. Whoever's filming is panting and coughing like they started crying, and it sounds like they could either be Gabe or Sal. The shot is focused on whatever's stuck up there, and something breaks off the tree and falls. And it makes no noise when it lands, and that's where the shot cuts. Clip 8. It's a shot of Monica's room, or what used to be her room, when she was a little kid. I've only been in that room a couple of times. It's full of old childhood stuff, so there's nothing really for us to see or do in there. The window is open, and a little breeze ripples through the curtain. There's a crash, like glass shattering, from what sounds like downstairs, and I nearly jump out of my seat, shielding my eyes. But the cop touches my arms, tells me there's nothing scary in the shot. It's just the room, pink and purple, with sunshine peeking through. The clip ends with another loud crash, and I swear I see a flicker of someone's face, wide-eyed and gaunt, peeking into the corner of the window. Just for a second, I gasp out loud and whip around to look at the cop, and he gives me the nod to keep watching. The last clip they show me is a still, blurred shot of the living room. The camera's facing the window, overlooking the backyard, and I can see the lit campfire. The TV isn't in the shot, but I can hear the music to the menu screen of a video game. The shot is shifting in and out of focus, and I can tell nobody is recording. The camera's just been left on. It's about a minute and a half of just this. Then suddenly, the power in the house goes out with a crack, and I shake in my seat. There's a strange howling noise from outside, but it's not a coyote, not an animal. It sounds like 2 or 3 people mocking wolves, but warped. Something hits the window with a hard thud and I wince. There's blood splattered across it, and through the smears I can see somebody with oddly shaped limbs standing by the fire. They don't move. They just stand there with their head bent down, fixated completely on the flames, while the howling keeps going and I start to notice something. The howling sounds exactly the same every time. As soon as this clicks in my mind, it stops completely and I'm so thrown off that I almost don't see the figure disappear. It doesn't leave the shot. I don't see it move. It just vanishes. The fire goes out and the lights turn on in the house again. The menu music from the video game is playing again, and I can hear my friends laughing, the clink of beer bottles. The shot goes blurred and then shuts off. That's all the footage that they showed me. I was asked where I was during all of this, why I didn't go on this trip, why my friends had some of my belongings, especially the camera, and I told them the truth. I told them about the previous 2 years, how nothing strange had ever happened on the Pines property before. In turn, I asked them what happened to my friends. They told me 7 bodies were found on the property, none of them belonging to any one of my friends. Their parents were asked to identify the bodies and remains, and none of them matched. My friends are just missing. I know the cops were gonna tell me, so I asked Deshaun's father about the 7 dead strangers. Were they people the Pines knew? He didn't know. He just told me how he found them. 6 of them, in a clearing in the woods, laying in a circle surrounding a tree, holding hands like in a prayer. The 7th body was perched up at the top of the tree, impaled through the head on the highest branch. And that is the end of... I watched video footage of a camping trip that my friends never actually went on. From r/no sleep, of course. I was debating doing some regular, standard creepypasta, but I think we've read through a lot of them before, at least the really funny ones. So I grabbed some random ones. I also have a few here from r/short scary stories, because when I looked up short no sleep stories, everyone directed me over to this subreddit. So how about we read a few of the top ones for the year. They all have to do with husbands. Wow. I wonder what inspired so many people to make scary stories about husbands. This one is called My Husband Hasn't Spoken to Me in Months, so I decided to surprise him at dinner. And hello everyone that stopped by, thank you. I hope that you're feeling comfy next to the campfire with me. If you get scared, I'll hold your hand, but I'll make fun of you for it later. Hi honey, I said, bustling over the stovetop. How was your day? He ignored me. He threw down his briefcase and got a beer from the fridge, the same as always. Is dinner ready yet? I pointed to the timer ticking on the kitchen counter. The meatloaf needed another 20 minutes. I think the correct phrase is, what's cooking, good looking? I joked. Look, I've had a long day, he sighed, draining his beer. Just come get me when it's ready. I will, honey, I said. After dinner, I have a surprise for you. Whatever. And with that, he retreated upstairs. Supper seemed to be all he cared about these days. So long as he was fed, he appeared to want nothing else to do with me. I tried to get him to talk to me. Something was clearly bothering him. He just wouldn't open up. But that was all right. Once dinner was ready, I hollered up the stairs that it was time to eat. The spread was immaculate. Roast cauliflower with lemongrass and shallot, jacket potatoes with garlic confit, and for the main course, a beautiful meatloaf, my own recipe, his favorite. I thought he might even notice. Instead, he simply began eating without even looking at his plate, his eyes glued to his phone. But that was all right. After 15 minutes of silence, broken only by the sounds of chewing, I spoke up. So, how's the meatloaf? I asked. Good, he grunted. Curious about your surprise? I asked, smiling. Do you want a hint? What do you want from me, Rose? He scoffed, plating another ketchupy slice. I didn't forget your birthday, did I? His words stung, but I tried not to let it show. I'd been silently rehearsing what I was about to say for hours. Actually, I wanted to talk to you, I said, about the baby. He stopped chewing for a moment, his jaw set. He always wanted to be a father, but 6 months ago I'd miscarried at 20 weeks. The doctor told me we shouldn't try again. I told you before I don't want to talk about it. But I do, I said. She was my baby too. If you can't give me a child, he said, popping the last of his meatloaf in his mouth, then we have nothing more to talk about. Ow! He'd bitten down on something so hard he nearly cracked a tooth. As he gingerly pulled the thing from between his lips, he shuddered, unable to comprehend what he was seeing. Is that? He asked softly. I nodded. There's leftovers in the fridge if you're still hungry. A belly button ring, the kind his mistress wore. He clutched his mouth in horror, staring at me with more passion than he had in months. Is this it, you crazy bitch? Is this the surprise? Of course not, I replied, pleased that I finally had his attention. Oh, this one's a bit sad. She was pregnant. Oh, that's sad. That's what you get for choosing random stories. Well, surely not every single one here is sad, right? Surely they don't all have the same twist. Grr. Maybe I should have stuck with reading Ben Drowned or something. I wanted to read Pen Pals or Baraska, but they're like 4 hours long. They're really, really long. Well, this one can't be sad. This one looks different. My husband got a speeding ticket for the 2nd day in a row. It's time to tell him about my stalker. Ooh, spooky. I was going 2 miles over, he said, handing me the ticket. 2, can you believe that? The same guy who pulled me over yesterday. I looked at the name of the officer on the ticket. Babe, I need to tell you something. Okay. When I was a freshman, there was this classmate who wouldn't leave me alone. Just kept bugging me. So eventually I caved in and let him take me on one date just to shut him up. He was weird, very weird. Kept saying we're going to get married, have 10 kids, so I told him it wasn't going to work out. But he wouldn't let go for years, kept harassing me. I had to switch schools twice just to avoid him. My parents tried to get a restraining order, and I hadn't thought about him for years until 3 days ago when he pulled me over. My husband pointed at the ticket. This guy? I nodded. He pulled me over for some bullshit reason, then acted like it was a happy reunion. He asked me out for dinner. I told him that I'm married. He said, I can fix that. I thought about it, and lately I've seen a cop car parked down the street late at night. I thought, great, less crime. But now I think it was him. He's watching me. I don't think he's going to leave us alone. My husband angrily crumpled the ticket in his hand. I'll take care of him. How? I'm scared. I'll take care of him. It's been 5 days since I last saw my husband. 5 horrible, gut-wrenching days. I walked into the police station and told them I needed to report a missing person. The officers were no help. I know they wouldn't be. Oh, he's probably run off with another woman. My husband would never. I didn't report him missing because they were gonna find him. I knew doing it would get my stalker's attention. I hadn't even made it halfway home when I saw him in my rearview mirror. He flashed his lights and I pulled over. I hadn't even made it halfway home. Wait, I read that. Oops. He walked to my car with a big smile on his face, knocked on my window like I was his birthday present. The thing about predators is they have tunnel vision. He couldn't keep his eyes off of me. He should have been looking behind him. It made a horrible, disgusting crunch when my husband ran him over. And a human versus a stolen Kia Optima collision, the car is always going to win. My husband had been waiting outside the police station, just like we had planned days ago. My stalker laid on the ground, seizing. There was less blood than I expected. Half his skull was missing. My husband sped away and was already out of sight. Now all that was left was to call 911 and report a tragic hit and run. It happened so fast. I won't remember many details. That one was better. That one wasn't sad. And yes, Boraska is super long. It's one of the best stories I've ever read though. Maybe I'll do it for another stream. I only plan to do a very short stream today to try it out. Hopefully you guys are liking it. I would like to do more ASMR reading. Sorry, you are gonna see me drinking, but I made sure to mute it so you wouldn't have to hear it. Let's see, let's try another from Scary Short Stories, and then maybe I'll read a classic creepypasta or two. I'd really like to do this with maybe the Morrowind books or some other video game lore. I think that would be nice. Let's see. This one looks good. Okay. My mother died, and all she left me was an old coat. Did she leave a note? I asked. wiping the tears from my eyes. My sister Erica had called me and told me that our mother had committed suicide. Once the shock had passed, that was the first question I asked. She did, Erica replied with a sniffle, but all it said was, "I'm sorry." We spent the rest of the conversation speculating why she would do something like that, but neither one of us had a clue. The best that we could come up with was that she missed our father, who'd passed away from cancer 3 years earlier. Before I got off the phone, Erica gave me the details of the memorial service that our mother had apparently set up in the weeks before her death. That all happened a week ago. I thought that would be the end of her family's ordeal, but that was not the case. The day after the memorial service, Erica and I got a call from a lawyer telling us that our mother had left specific instructions for him in her will. That was why both of us were now seated across from him in an office. When he read the will, we weren't surprised to hear that our mother had divided everything equally between me and my sister. "So that's it?" I asked. "You called us down here just to tell us we each get half?" "Not exactly," the lawyer replied. "Your mother did have one additional request." "What?" I asked. "I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave the office, Miss Payne," the lawyer said to my sister. "Why can't she stay?" I asked. "Your mother left specific instructions that the item I'm to give you is for your eyes only," the lawyer explained. "It's okay," Erica said, before excusing herself from the office. Once my sister was gone, the lawyer got up and retrieved an old wool coat from his closet, which he carried over to me. "Your mother wanted you to have this," he said, handing me the coat. "A coat?" I stood up and I took it from him. "What's so special about a coat?" "Put it on," the lawyer instructed. "What?" "Your mother said not to let you leave until you tried it on." "That's stupid," I said, as I put the coat on. Happy now, I thrust my hands into the pockets of the coat, and when I did, my right hand brushed against a folded piece of paper. I pulled it out, unfolded it, and read the message written inside. "This coat belonged to your real mother. I stole it when I kidnapped you." My world suddenly flipped upside down, and with that came the realization that I was the reason my mother had committed suicide. A few weeks before she killed herself, I took a DNA test because I was curious about our heritage. Interesting. Yay! And hello, everyone new. Hello, gather around the campfire. I don't know if I could do it with the Balan Wonderworld book, but I would also like to introduce triggers and stuff. I just have to figure out how ASMR people do that. I don't know what they use to make silly sounds. I could do tapping, but I can't do anything else right now. I don't know. It's okay. Reading stories, you don't have to do those kinds of things, especially scary ones. It would just spook you to hear loud, sudden noises. Let's see. I think for this last one here, we're going to read a classic creepypasta. So let me go get one of those real quick. Which one though? Okay, I've got one. This isn't one that I know, but it's suggested reading on the Creepypasta wiki. So maybe it'll be good. To Bree Ice Q at blank.com. Subject: Bree, please read this. Bree, don't delete this. I know you hate me, but we were best friends once, and I need you to read this. I think I'm in serious trouble, and there's nothing you can do, but I need you to read this so you understand. I know we haven't talked since sectionals. It's been forever, but what happened to you wasn't my fault. At least, it wasn't entirely my fault. I know everyone thinks it was, but I would never do anything to hurt you. This is going to sound crazy, but I need to tell you so that someone knows. It started when we were in 8th grade. It was the night before the Crystal Classic competition. I was at home, and I couldn't sleep because I was so nervous about competing. Well, I got on the computer, just sort of surfing the web and stuff, but I couldn't concentrate on anything. I was just sitting there, so I Googled myself. I never should have done that. Bree, at first it was just the usual stuff you find when you Google yourself. Then I found a link to a Wikipedia page about me. I thought our club or my dad did it, or something. There wasn't much there, just some basic facts about skating and what city I lived in. But the thing that got me was that it had said I had won that year's Crystal Classic. I laughed. I thought for sure someone had only made it to encourage me. I confronted my dad about it, but he denied it. When I won the competition the next day, I was so happy. That was the first competition I'd ever won, and it felt so good. Remember how hard I worked after that? That was when my parents hired Sergey to coach me. You know how much that must have cost. After that, I would check my page before every competition, and it would always say where I placed. It said I would win the regionals at 15, and that came true. Afterwards, Sergey convinced my mom and my dad that I had a real shot at the Olympics. That was when they pulled me from school. I skated every day, but I just wasn't progressing the way Sergey said I needed to if I wanted a shot at the championship. I was working so hard and skating well, but still Sergey said it wasn't good enough. When the sectionals came, all I could think about was winning, so I did something I shouldn't have. Everyone was saying that you were the favorite, and I felt like I'd already lost the competition, so I made a Wikipedia account and tried to update my page to say that I was the winner. The thing is, after I tried to update the page, I checked it, and all it said was, Anora Petrova is a selfish little bitch who's going to get what she deserves. I broke down. That's why I looked so awful the next day. I was in a daze. I remembered watching your routine and seeing your blade snap. The next thing I knew, I was on the ground and my face was covered in blood from where the tip flew off and sliced my forehead. They told me it was my fault because I had your skates in my possession earlier. Bree, I honestly didn't do anything to your skates. I wanted to win, but I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. When they told me I was banned from any further competitions, everyone said that I got what I deserved. Nobody even asked for my side of the story. I guess you heard that Sergey dropped me after that too. He said I ruined him. No one would talk to me. Do you know what it's like to be ostracized by everyone? I couldn't even get ice time, and then the page got worse. Anytime I check it, it would say all these horrible things about me. I can't even tell you half of them. The language was so vile. I'd cry every time I read it, but I couldn't stop checking it. I knew I had to do something, so I made a complaint to Wikipedia. I even tried calling them, but no one there claimed to know anything about the page. I was home alone that Friday night when I decided to check it to see if it had been taken down. The page was still there, only this time it read, Enora Petrova is a pathetic little orphan. I freaked. I kept calling my parents to warn them, but every time I did, all I would hear was this horrible laughter on the other end. I must have called them 100 times until I couldn't take the sound of the laughing anymore. After the accident, the police gave me their phone, and there wasn't any record of my calls that night. I was devastated. Before that, I was so busy training all day and doing homeschool, I never realized just how alone I had been the entire time. I know you tried to reach out, but I was so angry and depressed that I just shut everything out. Once I turned 18, I got the settlement money from court. I came to Switzerland. I got to reinvent myself. My skating really took off. It hasn't even been a year, and I still feel like everything that happened was so long ago. That's why I shouldn't have done it, Bree. I'm writing you now from an old hotel outside of Prague. I'm auditioning for the ice circus tomorrow. I know it's the kind of thing we used to make fun of, but I really want this. I was feeling really nervous, so out of an old habit I checked my page. It's so hard to say this, but when I read it to see if I'd get the job tomorrow, all it said was, Enora Petrova died friendless and alone. And it has today's date listed as the day of my death. I'm sobbing so hard. I can barely type this, but I wanted you to know the truth. Please believe me, Bree. I attached a screenshot of the page. It's all there, just as I told you. I don't know what to do. I don't know anyone here, and no one speaks English. I keep refreshing the page. God, it's been forever. I keep refreshing, but it still hasn't changed. I'm waiting for midnight. I don't know what to do. So I locked myself in my room. There's only a few minutes to midnight now. All I can do is refresh the page. I'm exhausted, but I can't stop. I'm afraid to leave the computer until I know what happens next. And this one has an image attached. Ooh. Spooky. I'll link it in chat in case you want to look. This was fun. I liked this. I'm sorry it only took a little, like 45 minutes. I think I need to get used to reading not so fast. But that's okay, because we'll do another one. I'll try to change the location up from time to time, so you guys don't get bored with the noises and the background. I also have to get used to whispering for long periods of time. I might cut this up and upload it as, like little videos. Maybe. I'll see. I guess, I didn't have any more prepared, so I'll have to have more prepared next time. I hope, though, that you guys had fun listening with me. And I'll look into some triggers and stuff so I can do proper ASMR alongside just reading with you guys. Thank you again. And I will see you guys this weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.